So, for some odd reason today, there's been talk about mythology, like Greek, Roman, mainly Greek. Egyptian's been brought up too. So I decided to do kind of a different video today. Still mental health related and still makeup. There's nothing on, obviously, yet, but there will be. So, we're going to talk about how gods and goddesses may have mental health, like what gods and goddesses had to do with mental health. Mental health problems have been around since the dawn of mankind, and depending on your faith, religion, or belief, that could mean different things. I know in the Christian faith, it has to do with Adam and Eve. I know in the scientific community, it has to do with the Big Bang. Many people also believe in evolution, and I don't know all of the theories for all of the religions. I'm sorry, not an overly religious person. As a child, I adored and still do, but really, I was really into when we talked about mythology. Greek, Roman, and Egyptian were the three main ones we talked about all the time for like middle school, high school. I mean, it was talked about a lot. I really fucking enjoyed it, like a lot. So when people were talking about different gods and goddesses in Greek, Roman, and Egyptian mythology, I'm like, we all know like Hades had to do with death. Zeus was the major god in Mount Olympus. You know, we all remember very basic things. But mental health has been around and it was addressed even back then, though it was very taboo to talk about, and craziness was just kind of like a sin. And, you know, things have evolved over time, whether you believe in evolution. You can literally see different kinds of evolution in different aspects of life, not necessarily that we came from monkeys, if that's not what you believe in, but there is evolution. There is definitely an evolution in speaking about, believing in, and treating mental health care, from it being like, shh, no, to, hey, let's have advocacy and let's talk about it. Take your medications, get the therapy. It's okay. I support you, sis, in this journey, or man, or bro, or whatever you identify as. Okay, so that itself has evolved over time, and I'm very glad it has. And I am one of those people who will advocate for you till the end of time, or my time, really, because mortality is a thing. So I haven't decided on the look I'm going for today, but a plain face is not it. Also, I have a Facebook Live I'm doing in about an hour, so I'm going to try to make this somewhat quick. Hold your thoughts. Also, if you want to know more about mythology, I would love to get my nerd on and talk more about it with you. So I'm going to pause real quick, grab my makeup, and then we'll get to it, yeah? All right. Be right back. So it's kind of a purpley look today that we're going for. Let me show you some of the newer products I'm using. This is from the Wet n Wild collection. It's an eyeshadow quad. And so what I want to open. Okay, so I've never opened this quad before, but the quad is called Bed of Roses, and I'm only going to be using the top two colors because look at how pretty they are. What the fuck is going on? Yeah, super pretty colors. Let's see. Okay, that's kind of better. Yep. All right. I'm also using the Pharmacy concealer. And that's it as far as new products that I'm using. Everything else is pretty much the same old you've seen in other videos. So let's get to it. I'm going to share my screen and here we go. All right. So my question to Google was, is there a Greek god that has to do with mental illness? Now, y'all know Athena. Athena is the goddess of wisdom and logical connection. We all know mental illness doesn't really have much logic behind it. So there's that. And I grabbed the wrong tube. Instead of grabbing primer, I grabbed foundation. There you go. There's the primer. Okay. Hygeia is the goddess of physical health, but that her function also includes mental health, and she can also be associated with Athena Hygeia. Alrighty. This is according to ancient.eu. They talk a lot about things in the ancient cultures, so they're pretty good and a trusted source. So in Greek mythology, the question I've opened up here, who is the god of mental illness? According to this, in Greek mythology, Oisis is the god of misery, anxiety, grief, and depression. She, so this is a goddess, not a god, but a goddess, even better, thank you. But she is the goddess, the daughter of Nyx, the goddess of the night. Huh. So, fun fact, I love NYX Cosmetics, and they're NYX, NYX. So they got their name from the goddess of the night. Huh. Interesting fun fact right there. Right. Anyways, and the twin of the god Momus, the god of blame. Her Latin name is Miseria, which is English for misery. All right, let's keep going. Just a smizzeroonie. Apparently, there's also a god of mind control. I bet you there are days that we wish we could either control our own or control other people's minds. So, who is this person? Goddess. The Greek god Dolus was the god for daemon or trickery, cunning deception, craftiness, guile, and treachery. He was the companion of Prometheus, the titan of the crafty council and the pseudology lies. All right. His female counterpart was his sister Apate, the goddess of fraud and deception. Fraud does not have gender, guys. Let me tell you that. Guys, girls, and everything in between. And then some can be evil motherfuckers. Treachery doesn't know gender either. Either just lying, deception, or any other form of them. So it's nice to see that they had the both male and female counterparts for this. Apparently there was a Greek god of insanity, Lysa, also called Lita, was by Athenians, was the spirit of mad rage, frenzy, and rabies in animals. She was also closely related to Mene, the spirit of madness and insanity. So this was addressed, guys. This was definitely addressed in the ancient times. This is just the tip of the iceberg for Greek. We're going to go over to, why did Roman close? All right, we're going to have to redo that one. But there was an Egyptian one as well. Remember this name? I do. Hygeia, she comes back. We talked about her in Greek mythology, literally the other tab over. Greek and Roman is also super similar. Egyptian tends to be a little bit different. They have a lot more of them as well. So Hygeia is the goddess of health, which includes mental health, because mental health is part of your health. Does this term look familiar, guys? Mania? Maybe bipolar 1 and 2 disorder? I don't know. Okay, so in the Roman and Etruscan mythology, Mania is the goddess of spirits and chaos. Huh. In Greek mythology, she is also the goddess of insanity and madness. Sounds like mental disorders to me. So let's go ahead and look at some of these links. So we're going to go ahead and go to Hygeia over here, and we're going to look up, let's look up Lysa in Wiki. Wiki is actually pretty good for mythology. In the start of the internet days, we went to Wiki for everything, and it was pretty accurate. Sadly, it is an open source, so people can edit it. So I always ask you to please vet things for yourself. I'm only one person. All right. So who is fuck, that's small. Okay. Let's see. There we go. Lysa. Spirit of Mad Rage, Rabies. We saw that just a second ago. Ooh, excuse me. She personifies mad rage and frenzy as well as rabies in animals. In Heracles, also called Hercules. All right. She is called upon by Hera to inflict the hero Heracles with insanity. In this scenario, she is shown to take a temperate, measured approach to her role, professing not to use her powers in anger against friends, nor to have any joy in visiting the homes of men. She counsels Iris, who wishes to carry out Hera's demand against targeting Heracles. After failing to persuade, bows to the orders of the superior goddess and sends him into a mad rage that causes him to murder his wife and children. What? Yo, I didn't know that he killed his wife and kids. Definitely not the Disney version. It's not something I remember from sixth grade mythology, let me tell you that. Not at all. So, yeah. Now we're going to go to Hygeia, the goddess of health, because she seems to be brought up multiple times here. Okay. And for the sake of time, there's a button over here that says listen to the article. So we're going to listen to it together while I do a little bit more of my face. Here you go.
The goddess of health. Modern medicine has its origin in the ancient world. The oldest civilizations used magic and herbs to cure their sick people, but they also used religion to free them from harm and to protect their health. The medical care of today has its roots in ancient Greece. With the introduction of Asclepius and Hygeia in Athens, there sprouted a very important healing cult that existed from about 500 BCE until 500 CE. Hygeia plays a very unusual role in Greek religion because of her unclear identity. She was connected with Asclepius in the 5th century BCE, and together they became the most famous healing couple within the Greek and Roman world. One of the main problems is the identity of Hygeia. She has been given several names, which cross each other all the time through modern literature from the late 19th century CE. Terms like goddess, personification, abstraction and extension of Asclepius are but a few of the labels given to her. It is an interesting question why modern scientists and historians alike use different names for Hygeia, when ancient sources literally state that she is a goddess. An example is the first oath of Hippocrates, which states, "I swear by Apollo, the healer, Asclepius, Hygeia, and Panacea, and I take to witness all the gods, all the goddesses, to keep according to my ability and my judgment, the following oath and agreement." Oath of Hippocrates, image. 1299. So the conclusion is that we have to discuss definitions of personification. What is personification? Does it mean the anthropomorphic representation of lifeless things? Which stages of personification can one define? According to Stafford, health is one of the physiological states to be personified in the ancient world, perhaps most closely paralleled by sleep, hypnos/somnus, who also had strong associations with healing cults, and who could even be represented asleep at Hygeia's feet. Further, what relation exists between Greek concepts like prosopopoia and ethpoia, and does it coincide with the Latin personificare? Secondly, we have to ask ourselves the question, what are deities? Are the Greek gods immortal and living on Mount Olympus? Do they drink nectar and eat ambrosia, while playing men being invisible but still omnipresent? It is important to make a distinction between Olympian deities and Greek gods, because mythology is fundamentally something other than religion. Thirdly, there is the discussion of mythology. Although she hasn't got much mythology, she is linked with several deities such as Apollo, Athena, and Asclepius, and also to the Egyptian goddess Isis Medica, whose functions are the same as that of Asclepius and Hygieia. There is also a link with the Roman Bona Dea. Her function does make it possible to identify her with Hygieia. Further, identification can be made based on the fact that Bona Dea was worshipped as Bona Dea Hygie, and a connection is given with Minerva, the Roman counterpart of Athena. Minerva was also worshipped as a healing deity by the name of Minerva Medica. There is no question about the nature of Athena, Apollo, Isis, and Bona Dea. These figures are worshipped as deities. Asclepius himself is a difficult figure. He started as a mortal, then a demigod, thirdly a minor deity, until he became the most important medical deity of the Greek world. If we look at comparative mythology, does this make Hygieia more important? Finally, we will discuss the historical context. Hygieia had her own cult already in the 7th and 6th centuries BCE, which has been recognized by the Delphic oracle, after it develops into a supra-local cult in Greece and Rome, where it is incorporated into the religious traditions of Asclepius, the god of medicine. When in 429 and 427 BC a plague breaks out in Athens, it did not take long before Hygieia and Asclepius were brought into Athens. The year of their introduction was 420 BCE. Image.4435 Stafford posits that the year 420 BCE is the first appearance of Hygieia as an autonomous goddess, when she arrives together with Asclepius in Athens. Before this event her history would be located at 2 locations, namely in Athens and the Peloponnese. These sites come together again in the so-called Telemachus monument from the early 4th century BCE, which gives a very detailed description of the origin of the cult of Asclepius. On the monument is an upright Asclepius, on his right a female figure seated on a table, Hygieia, and beneath her a dog. On the left is a smaller figure who raises his hands as if in prayer. This is likely Telemachus. Jane says that although Hygieia and Asclepius came from Epidaurus to Athens, Hygieia has her own development, apart from Asclepius, with who they appear in the 5th century CE in Athens. According to Parker, the 5th century BCE is a century of religious renewal. This century is characterized by the introduction of new cults, when new gods come to Athens. There are 3 changes that can be observed in the 5th century BCE. First, the importance of small cults. Secondly, the addition of new epithets to ancient deities. And third, the introduction of foreign divinities. An example of the enlargement of smaller cults is the cult of Athena Nike, whose altar adorned the Acropolis since the mid-6th century BCE. This cult, however, only about emanates around 450 BCE in celebration of beating the Delish-Attic Sea alliance in Persia. Other examples of religious renewal are the building of temples to Poseidon and Sunnu and Nemesis Rhamnus between approximately 450 and 430 BCE. The second innovation is characterized by adding new epithets to existing gods, because the Athenians found it quite common for deities to unite them with abstractions. Examples are deities such as Artemis Aristobule, Artemis Euclea, and Zeus Eleutherios. Finally, foreign divinities were introduced, which the Greeks called xenikoithea. This term cannot simply be translated as foreign divinities, along with the modern understanding of the term foreign, because for an Athenian, a man of Epidaurus was also a xenikos. The crucial division is not between non-Greek and Greek deities, but between the deities traditionally honored in public cults and the rest. According to Herodotus, the gods are the same everywhere, just with different names. Examples of such deities are Dionysus, Bendis, Pan, and Asclepius. Besides a cult of Hygieia, there is still a cult of Athena Hygieia. Plutarch tells the following story in his Pericles about how a strange accident happened in the course of building, which showed that the goddess was not averse to the work, but was aiding and cooperating to bring it to perfection. One of the artificers, the quickest and the handiest workman among them all, with a slip of his foot fell down from a great height, and lay in a miserable condition, the physicians having no hope of his recovery. When Pericles was in distress about this, the goddess appeared to him at night in a dream, and ordered a course of treatment, which he applied, and in a short time and with great ease cured the man. And upon this occasion it was that he set up a brass statue of Athena Hygieia in the citadel near the altar, which they say was there before. But it was Phidias who wrought the goddess's image in gold, and he has his name inscribed on the pedestal as the workman of it. Plutarchus, Pericles 13.8. The shrine of Athena Hygieia on the west side of the Acropolis is very important in the celebration of the Panathenaia, the altar by the Athenians first established. Garland argues that the most important healing sanctuary belongs to Athena Hygieia, until Asclepius makes his appearance in Athens. In mythology, Hygieia is the daughter, sister, or wife of Asclepius. A further explanation is that the Homeric gods are no longer sufficient and that they are unable to satisfy the population, so new saving deities have to appear. Hygieia is occasionally associated with Amphiaraos, specifically in Oropo, its principal place of worship. She appears several times alone or together with this hero. Pausanias says that the fourth part of the great altar of the Amphiaea was shared with Aphrodite, Panakia, Iaso, Hygieia, and Athena Hygias. Stafford claims that the sharing of the altar by Hygieia affects the Athenian cult Amphiaraos after Oropo transferred to Athens after the Battle of Chaeronea, and where Hygieia would have a place in the Athenian Amphiaea in 330 BCE and beyond. Deities indeed could displace each other. Another example is Apollo displacing Gaia as an oracle deity. Image 3D.4 to 185. Another context is advocated when told that people could stay healthy by living sensibly. Athena is also the goddess of wisdom and thus a logical connection. Bell adds that Hygieia is mainly the goddess of physical health, but that her function also includes mental health and that she also can be associated with Athena Hygieia. A third idea is, according to Warren, that it is Athena who teaches Asclepius how to bring back the dead to life. Finally, Compton gives a fourth explanation, namely that ancient conceptions of health and illness do not distinguish between mental and physical ailments. Thus can Athena Hygieia and Hygieia easily can be associated with each other. Previous ideas go against the idea that the relationship between Athena Hygieia and Hygieia merely is coincidental, because the cult of Asclepius is not introduced at the end of the 5th century BCE, and Hygieia does not appear previously as a separate figure in literature or art. Roth indicates that Athena used the epithet Hygieia to strengthen her medical skills. This would be a correct assumption when the declining satisfaction about deities is considered. The goddesses could exist separately from one another. A more convincing argument for a clearer distinction between Athena Hygieia and Hygieia is given by Stafford when she quotes Farnell. Farnell said that around 330 BCE, sacrifices still are offered to Athena Hygieia. This contradicts the claim that the Hygieia from the Telemachus monument is a development of the Athenian Athena Hygieia, and that after 420 BCE no further mention is made of Athena Hygieia as previously argued by Mitchell-Boyce. Farnell himself does not mention the year 330 BCE. It appears that his position is based on the celebration of the Panathenaea. It is indicated that all the dedications to Athena dating from a later period after 420 BCE, but he doesn't give a clear argument. Stafford qualifies this with the fact that in 330 BCE offerings to Athena Hygieia were made during the small Panathenaea and that these operations are recorded by the tax levied on the newly discovered field within the 4th century BCE Oropo. Personally, I follow the argument that Hygieia had her own regional cult in the 7th and 6th centuries BCE, but that Hygieia really got famous when she was brought to Athens around 420 BCE. The Telemachus monument from the early 4th century BCE confirms this theory. Furthermore, Hygieia gets her own altar in the Asclepieion next to Asclepius. In addition, there is already a cult of Athena Hygieia in 420 BCE that would fade after the arrival of Asclepius and Hygieia, but there is still a small revival when in 330 BCE during the small Panathenaea people sacrificed to her. The cult of Hygieia and Athena Hygieia may have passed each other, so that Athena Hygieia as a separate figure was no longer needed. The introduction and development of the cult of Hygieia can be placed in the idea that the 5th century BCE was a century of religious innovation, where old gods got new epithets, small cults became more important, and new deities entered the Greek religion. Conclusion. We can say after this short essay that Hygieia was very important in her role to protect the health of ancient Greeks, first in Athens, and the rest of the Greco-Roman world. Her connection with Asclepius strengthens her position. The most important example is the Oath of Hippocrates, in which she is mentioned after Asclepius. She has a place within the most important triad of healing gods, Apollo and Asclepius. As Athena Hygieia, she had to protect the Athenians. Athena Hygieia had a counterpart in Minerva Medica, and due to the comparative mythology with Isis Medica and Bona Dea Hygiene, her role as goddess is enhanced. Further, she was viewed as the most important partner of Asclepius and his cults all over Greece and Italy. She was honored from the 7th century BCE until the 5th century CE, and even today we have inherited her name in our word hygiene. Health in antiquity was as important as...
Well, that was a lot of information, guys. Hygiene. That makes sense for Hygieia. Yeah. she is related not only in Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and Egyptian. They were all around in the same general era of time. And you can still see signs of all of these beliefs in modern day. Oh my God, this lip gloss is so fantastic. Anyways, if you go to Greece or Rome or Egypt, you can still see signs of all of this in modern day society. What do I mean by that? I mean, there are Egyptian hieroglyphs that talk about the same shit. There are Greek and Roman paintings, vases, vases, however you say it, different things that represent all different aspects of this mythology. I am well aware my look is not complete. That's because of the unboxing that I have in about 40 minutes on Facebook. I wanted to do the basics of the look just to get it done with, but I have a new eyeliner that I'm trying out today. So the eyeliner and mascara will wait to the end. I tried a pomade, eyebrow pomade. It also works as an eyeliner. That was a fail. As you can see, my eyebrows look like Groucho Marx. They look way too dark. It didn't work. And the eyeliner did not go on. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. But these eyeshadows are fucking gorgeous. And the contour, highlight, everything is on point. Again, these lip glosses, if you haven't watched my Facebook lives, you need to. But this is by my girl Karen Baker. She has a company based out of Long Beach called Cola's Candy House. That's COLASKANDYHOUSE. Cola's Candy House has all sorts of fun little things. This is not a ring pop. This is watermelon flavored lip gloss, and it's a butter gloss, and I just put it on top of my lipstick, and my lips be popping. All right, and it's a butter gloss. What that means is it goes on like butter. It is smooth, it is moisturizing, it is healing for your lips, but it does not have that sticky, tacky, disgusting feeling that I hate of most lip glosses out there. So I highly recommend you check her out. Support small business, please. So she actually sent me a surprise box today, or over the weekend, and I'm opening it today on my live along with other things. So if you haven't checked out my Facebook, please do. Again, please send me a message saying who you are, so that I can actually add you. I just have to protect myself so I can protect all of you and make sure that we are still here to talk about mental health in all aspects together. If there is a mental health subject that you want to know more about, or you want to talk more about mythology, I'm all about that. I am a grade A nerd. Okay. I would just like to do a quick disclaimer that I'm not Greek, I'm not Roman, I'm not Egyptian, and all of the things I find are online, and I will put all the links in the description box below so that you can read it further for yourself. I'm always open to suggestions. And I do actually answer the comments. So if you comment that something is wrong, I will respond to you. Please help. I'm still a new channel. I'm up to 23 followers. Yay! But I would like to, of course, get more. First big marker will be when I hit 100 followers. I can actually customize my URL and become youtube.com/pinkparalegal. Up until then, it will be youtube.com/a whole bunch of bullshit. Thank you for liking my channel. If you liked what you saw today or in any of my other videos, we talk about makeup and mental health. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I would like to be able to share this with more than just my 23 followers, though I appreciate their support. On my Facebook, I do all of the small business reviews. So if you have a small business you would like me to review, please go ahead and send me a DM on Facebook Messenger, and I'll check them out. If they're affordable, I will be buying their products. If they are out of my price range, I will let you know. If you ever want to send me products for free, I'll gladly send you my address, so that you can do so. All of my reviews are my own honest opinion, and nothing is paid for. Even if you send me products for free, if I don't like it, I'll let you know. But I'm always very respectful, and I will always promote things, especially things I believe in, like Cola's Candy House. Again, this is not a sponsored video, but I love her products. So this is by far one of my favorites so far. And let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks, guys.